This is Whiteboard Wednesday. I am Lily. I am your Housecall Pro Facebook community manager. And we have Jeremy joining us for a great discussion around automation. And so if you are newer to the group or you've never heard of Whiteboard Wednesday, like what the heck is this? This is a Facebook Live event, I guess you could call it, that we've been doing for several years now, every single Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific without fail. We've been doing it, I think, since 2017, 2016, 2017. And Whiteboard Wednesdays are really meant for us to bring the newest technologies, the business related tips to you, share Housecall Pro updates, product updates. If we're partnering with someone new, we'll bring on integration partners. And sometimes we just have special guests like Jeremy joining us to talk about business related tips and tools and resources for you. So you can always expect that we will go live at 11 a.m. Pacific every Wednesday for Whiteboard Wednesday. So today we have Jeremy. I'm trying to see if we have any people tuning in. All right, let me get us pulled up here. All right. Yeah. So today we have Jeremy, and Jeremy has been working in the trades industry since he was a teenager, working for his father's tree company before he passed away 11 years ago. Jeremy, I'm sorry to hear that. But since then, Jeremy has owned his own company in the green, his own companies in the green industry. And he's also helped other service providers through his passion for technology, which is really cool. He's worked with many blue collar companies to automate one of the most important aspects of their businesses, which is the appointment scheduling to help prevent folks from losing out on opportunities while they're on the job site. So after nearly 6 years of creating automation to amplify what he has battle tested and helping other service professionals out there capture their opportunities and never miss them again while they're working on the job site. So he is here to talk today about automation. So if you're watching this, if you have any questions about automation, if there's anything that you fear, because automation can be such a beast of a topic, and it can feel a little overwhelming. So any thoughts, any questions, drop them in the comments and I will relay them to Jeremy so he can answer them live. One last thing, Jeremy, before I let you take it away, is if you are watching and you're catching this at a later time, totally fine too. Drop your questions in the thread and Jeremy and I will be monitoring those. So yeah, Jeremy, tell us a little about you and kick it off.
Well,
Take it away.
for starters, thank you for having me on today. I was barely able to keep my excitement because of the things that we've been able to work behind the scenes leading up to here. So I appreciate the honor and allowing me to come on the show. Just for everyone in the community to know my background, I work on two different sides of the coin when it comes to setting up different types of academies and virtual stuff, like even like trade schools and teaching the business side of it. But the most prominent one on the side of the coin is being able to set up the appointment scheduling while they're on the job site. Because my dad, he had a tree company for like 20 years, and I saw how it can be run and how it shouldn't be run. I've seen both sides of that, learning from him and unlearning certain things as I was growing up working for him before he passed away. And my first venture ever after he passed away was a hardscaping company, which overhauled and we scaled, did multiple six figures within a year time span. And now I'm a partner in my second company, and now we're hitting the same milestones, even for something that's a little bit less intense than hardscaping. So yeah, let's just say I've been through the ringer quite a bit, and it's seen the good, the bad, the ugly, especially when it comes to hiring new people, when it comes to trying to stay lean and trying to stay profitable. The biggest challenge is trying to keep track of everything.
Yeah.
And that's why with Housecall Pro, it's extremely useful to be able to track everything that you guys do and you provide. And then on the front end of it, solving the biggest issue is qualifying the people before they get to the online scheduler and kicking them out if they don't have the means. I mean, if you're going to do like a kitchen remodel repair, or are, cleaning the side of a house or just cleaning the entire driveway and their budget's only $100, it's kind of tough to take it seriously. So it's irritating too. You be on the phone with them for like 5-10 minutes or so. Then you find that out. You're like, oh gosh. So
Yeah, and I think the theme kind of today is like your time is so valuable, and you know that your time is precious, your time is money. And so qualifying those leads as they come through, automating that process will give you that time back, just like Housecall Pro does.
Oh, 100%. And that's the thing, is that with being able to go along with your sales script and be able to truly, match it up, it's powerful. But like, I mean, heck, how many people do we know that are always having the issue of trying to find the right person in the admin area, in the administrative area, but also to taking the calls. That's why Chadwick Taylor is so powerful. Yeah, his company is really, really good doing that. But even to have different people in place, like how do we stay lean? How do we stay profitable? But have the right systems in place on the front end, because Housecall Pro is phenomenal at the workflow. Now it's a matter of let's have something on the front end to qualify those leads to feed into it, right? And most folks, they use social media. I mean, we use Facebook groups, we use a whole bunch of stuff. And if we can have something in place that helps to upgrade our time, it's going to be that much easier, right? And that's where, heck, I mean, with our landscaping company that we have right now, it's so powerful to be able to have something that allows us to stay present, not on just on the job site, but also with our families, right? And that's the job. That's our goal at the end of the day. If we don't, we have a job for ourselves. And and that's not a fun part to have.
Well, we always say, I mean, there's a reason that you go into business for yourself, right? There's a reason that you start this adventure and this endeavor, and it's to give yourself back time. A lot of the, most of the reason. And that's what life's all about.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's the kicker too, is that heck, even with being able to make sure we have things all lined out for with our existing business. Because I mean, right now, the biggest thing for anybody, if they're an owner operator, is to clone themselves, at least clone one aspect or clone one of the hats that they wear. and to be able to combine that with even creating content, because if we can create content along while we're on the job site, I mean, because here, the thing is, as a business owner, we are the content creators, right? Yeah. We're out there on the job site. What the top forms of content that get attention are before and after, right? Before and after, and in progress. But before and after is like, in the in progress is the meat in between the sandwich, so to speak. And that where we are truly the content creators. We can pull out our phone or just remember it, and being able to work with folks is like, and helping them realize that, like, is one of the biggest challenges. Is like, oh wait, I can pull my phone out. Yes, you can. Yeah. And you can use your camera, you can use your video. I mean, we're using different things like company cam and some other stuff as well. So you're already in that rhythm, and being able to capture those photos and use that for marketing, both on your Facebook page, on blogs or any kind of stuff like that. It's not just enough to have, an automation in place. It's, you got to have traffic going to it too, right? You gotta be able to connect the dots, so it's we've got our workflow, and then we also have to make sure we have our sales flow connected and going together like a production line. But then one of the biggest gaps I think I see is mainly when it comes to owner operators. They don't realize, or they don't think of them being a content creator. Them and their team.
So often we stress, and we're like reminding the crew, you all are experts in your craft. And there's something so powerful about that. And I know when it's hot and sweaty and you're on the job site, it's really hard to remember to pull out your phone. But if you can just pull it out for 5 minutes, snap a few photos here and there, take a few video recordings.
Like not even 5 minutes, 5 seconds.
5 seconds. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, 5 seconds. And you have that, and you're a lot of you are doing it anyways for your customers. You're adding it to your invoice attachments. So just realize that you have all of this awesome content at your disposal, and I will tell you firsthand, I am a huge sucker for those before and after photos. The videos, oh my gosh, get me on a carpet cleaning kick and I will be there for hours scrolling, looking at before and after. It's so soothing. The pressure washing.
Oh
Oh,
man,
so
that's so satisfying. Pressure washing is so satisfying to watch. I mean, you got to think about everybody who's on YouTube, everybody who's on social media, whether Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, whatever that platform is. A lot of people are also trying to figure out like which one do I do? Which one do I stick at? Well, where are you most popular at right now? Right? Like let's just keep it simple, like for real. Kiss, keep it simple, Sally, like for real. Not keep it simple, stupid, but like we want to we want to be able to we want to keep one singular focus, and it's what's wild. I mean, really, truly, while you're out there, you don't want to break your phone, right? You don't want to crack the screen by accident if your hands are like sweaty and slippery. But I kid you not, like all the content that you're out, like anyone's out there doing a job, just make sure you don't include any sensitive information in there. I mean, that should go without being said, but doesn't need to be said because some people don't think about it. Oh shoot, maybe the street addresses or the numbers not the best thing to put in the photo, or even to block it out with your thumb. But a lot of times when it comes down to picking a channel, picking like to any of that, I mean honestly, just to really truly like the type of content that gets the best engagement right now is the content like that is positioned like this instead of
yeah.
like this. And it's interesting, because a lot of the videos, I mean, people right now with YouTube Shorts and Instagram Shorts, this is for some folks that may not be aware of it, but TikTok is actually they have created competition, and they're actually as you guys are creating content, Instagram has a fund now that you can turn reels into a way to make money. Your content can be a way to make money and have that flowing in along with also your whole entire cash flow being the services that you offer. And you tie in different ways to create revenue. I mean, hey, hopefully that incentivizes somebody, to be able to whip their phone out for 5 seconds, like, holy cow, that could be extra 100 bucks to 10,000 a month, like really, truly.
I
The funds
know.
are paying that out and it's wild. It's
Boy.
absolutely wild.
I know some of y'all in here are taking advantage of that. Some of you are constantly pumping out awesome content. If that's you and you have a TikTok or an Instagram, drop it in the comments. We want to see that. Like, let's
Yeah.
inspire each other and share ideas because some of you out there are doing it very successfully.
Oh yeah, and that's the cool thing about like just all of these different things that are happening so rapidly throughout these past 2 years. I mean, we'd be a doofus not to acknowledge all the changes and everything that's been happening. And some people don't want to work, and some people do. And that's why automation, when it's built around the human touch, really truly, because I mean, I've worked with real estate agents and brokers for the past 10 years, both on just different angles of stuff. And one thing I can tell you flat out, no matter what, and I bring that up because as an example, because they have very tight profit margins if they're not running it full time, even especially when it comes to service companies. Like your profit margins are probably 35-40% at best to some days. And when it comes to finding the right people, sometimes that can take longer, and teaching them it would be even harder, right? And that's where having an automation that can in place on the front end of it that's not weird, that doesn't alienate people, that's something that is smooth that goes along with the questions you'd already asked them. Why not?
Right.
And
Yeah.
it just makes total sense because you're going to ask like I was talking to somebody earlier today in home repair. And with our land, like with our companies and stuff, we send business back and forth anyway, so it's already a win-win. But I was talking to him and I was like, yeah, man, we just finished up an automation for another client the other day, and they had gotten a potential $5,000 lead while we were on the phone and converted it and just sent it straight over to him. And I mean, people are in Facebook groups all the time. Right now, people are not in Facebook groups. They need to jump in there and just be helpful and be useful as far as providing good insight and advice and pointing people in direction right now. Because honestly, if you, with a service company, technically right now, because the demand is so high, all you really need to do is show up and keep your integrity and keep your word, and you'll shine. It's crazy, but being able, with that demand also comes overwhelm. That top heavy problem is always the next issue. It's not about getting the job. It had nothing to do with that, not at all. It's a matter of capturing them and then converting them over and seeing if they're a good fit. If you're willing to take on, or if you have the ability to take on the job. Those are so many different variables that go into it. And all the home repair guys, HVAC, dryer vent cleaning guys, whoever whatever business you're in, you have to evaluate whether or not they're a good fit. And what's cool about the automation, the chatbot stuff, is that on the other side of it, period, like people don't feel sold to, and they love it.
Yeah.
And that's the other huge part of it that we've seen over the past even 6 years before all this stuff happened with the pandemic. That people just they don't like being sold to, they don't like being pressured into something that they are just getting information about. And it allows that middle ground to be able to connect. And then if they do go through and they get qualified, bam, push them right over to the HCP, Housecall Pro automate online scheduler. And then that way they get entered into the system.
Right. Yeah.
Like, to save them at least 5-10 hours a week minimum. Yeah, especially their administrative team. And it's crazy when the automation is built around human touch. That's when it wins. A
Yes.
lot of times people don't have the right background to build stuff out, and then it just begins to create a wedge in between the business and the customers, and it makes a really weird tension, an awkward tension.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you think about it. So something that I took away from what you just said, Jeremy, is that, you know, we kind of started with the whole creating your videos and creating your content, right? And whatever platform you're on right now, like keep it simple.
Yeah.
And meet your customers where they're at. You know, with this technology, like it can feel overwhelming, but it really is like we are in a really, really cool, unique space right now where you can really give your customers that like personal feel just by what you're putting out there, you know, just by how your automation is. Like automation nowadays is not it doesn't have to be robotic. It doesn't have to, it can feel very warm. Right. And like, so tell us more about this chat that you're talking about, Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest, like the way the chatbot works is that it's hosted like a website on the Facebook page. Depends on what builder we use. Mainly it's ManyChat, but we build it around their sales script. And we've got strategies on where people can use them in Facebook groups, integrate it to their website, do whatever we need to put it into anywhere into the entire marketing ecosystem. If they have postcards going, if they have different events, if they're going to like a home show, if they have a BNI group they're a part of, any kind of networking event, we can show them strategies on how to integrate it to their business card. So any kind of campaigns or whatever they have going on, depends on their market, their business model, their passion. I mean, all of that plays a part into it. But being able to have a chatbot readily available to where they can go, anyone can go through the bot, get a good understanding of their menu of services, and then actually walk through these scripts, these questions, a series of questions that do stack on top of each other truly to get the information. I mean, we can even create the chatbot to where it does math, to where it says, okay, let's get all, like, for instance, like the client that brought in that $5,000 lead, the $5,000 potential project, they came in and immediately just said, you know, bypassed everything and said, look, we have all this done. Wait, we need this done. Can you come and give us a quote? 100%. They skipped the loop, boom, and went around. And the next thing you know, we're over here talking to them about getting them on the books, you know, and they use a whole different platform as far as their website and other stuff that most people use. But I mean, we're able to work around that and integrate it into both their social media, but also too, heck, if they have a YouTube channel, Google My Business, being able to integrate it to their site and any kind of email marketing, any kind of campaign that they have going. So this way they can use it on social media, capture the information as people go through it. Mm-hmm. And they go through the different questions, because people will bypass it. We have to build out those different types of paths for that. So that way it can, their information like name, number, email, project description, whatever the case is, especially a zip code radius, especially for driving distances. If you're going to go out and do a quote, you got to know if they're outside of that radius. So that way people know there's a trip fee, right? There's a driving fee. Got to build that in. You know, if people aren't cool with that, then they need to be aware that that's built in. It's part of the project. You know, very key. And if they're not cool with that, then no sweat. You know, okay, great. Have an awesome day. We're not a good fit for you. Yeah, and to just chuck that thing out. Because even you can combine it into paid advertising campaigns, but the most common use is to take a link that leads to the chatbot, and then go into Facebook groups and use that while they're connecting with people. And instead of sending people to the website, send them to the chatbot.
Smart. Yeah.
So that way they're like, oh, I get white glove treatment. Oh my God. Yeah. And they get really excited. And I do that too well. I taught my sister how to strut, so no shame. But like, it's I'm the oldest of three. Okay, all of my siblings are 5 years apart. So like when I was 10, she was five, etc. And so yeah, she went to pageants and stuff, and so I showed her how to walk right. But no. But anyway, like being able to send people to the chatbot aside from the website, it creates an immediate way for people to connect and be able to actually get familiar with it. And we don't try to hide it. We don't try to impersonate a human being. It's actually illegal in some states that if you try to create an automation that pretends to be like a human, especially in California and other states like that, you'll actually get fined by the state if you solicit to one of their customers that is a resident in that state.
Interesting.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
And that's something that yeah, it is. I can't remember the actual clause or whatever, but it's literally if you try to solicit to a resident. I think Canada has the same statute since it's all under the GDPR rules that if you solicit to a specific resident in a state, then you try to and a robot impersonates a human being, it can cause some real issues. So it's the same thing like with email marketing and a bunch of other stuff that if you don't know those little small details, they can really come back to bite you in the butt in some unexpected ways.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good to know. Take note.
But yeah, being able to introduce people to the menu of services, any kind of like prerequisites as far as a driving radius, asking the right questions to actually disqualify people. I like my number one goal when building an automation is to disqualify you. If you make it through the gauntlet, you can get to the calendar.
That's a really unique way of looking at it.
I mean, honestly, like it's protection for the business owner because
Yeah.
honestly, I mean, if you're talking with people and you find out they're not qualified, then you're talking to the wrong people.
Yeah, and it's really important. It's like so important for you all to understand you have the choice of who you're servicing. We don't need these headaches. And I know y'all have them with the customers.
Man, we actually hack it with our landscaping company. Like I flat out, we had to tell them period that we're just hey, we'll pass on this job. It was just because of our attitude. Like
Yeah.
I did not want to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No thanks.
And your gut tells you that right out the gate, but if you can have automation help you kind of get through that.
I mean, honestly, like I'd rather have 10 people who can afford my services be on the phone with me that I pick who I work with compared to 10 people who can't afford it and then I'm desperate to work with one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Period.
You all call those shots. So
I mean, we set up the contracts, we set up any kind of agreements, any kind of bids or estimates, whatever the case is for that industry. I mean, honestly, like it gets down to the point to where it's like, do you really like how expensive is your peace of mind? Like, what is the cost for your soul? Really, truly, like, what is your price point you're putting on that? Because at the end of the day, if something, because it all stacks, it all builds, everything says something, right? Yeah, when you walk in the room, everything about you says something. I mean, truly, like my facial hair shows you that I got facial hair issues. Like, I mean, it is what it is. But when it comes down to your business, you're like your business, your who you hire affects how fast you do the job.
Yep.
Right. How fast you do the job also depends on how much you have in cash flow. I'm about to get tongue tied. How much you have in cash flow, right? How much you have in cash flow shows you how flexible you can be to take on other jobs because you still got to pay payroll no matter how long they take. That's the downside of hourly, right? And so then on top of that, if things are taking longer, why? Why are they taking longer? More than likely, it boils down to bad communication. Bad communication boils down to wrong systems being connected and all the facilitation of that. Because if you got traffic problems, you probably got road issues, right? Detours are because that road is shut off.
Right.
And so same thing with communication. If communication of the tasks, the notes, and everything in between from getting the job into the system to finishing it, all those little nooks and crannies are not lined up, it's all going to cause a backfill issue, causing a whole entire top-heavy problem, right? And so to solve all of that, the majority of it on the front end, better qualified leads. Because what happens if you're in the middle of a project and you're 90 days out and you haven't gotten paid for the second part of the project?
Yeah.
That's never fun. I literally, I have been in those positions personally where I have underbid a job by $6,000 and it took twice as long.
Oof. Yeah. Yep.
I've been in those positions where me and my business partner only made $100 in 2 months each. In 2 months, each of us made $100 pop. But if we qualified the lead better on the front end, I mean, there's some things that you run into that you learn and you build buffers into it, so that way you don't have to eat the cost in the future, which is what we did on that part of it. There's
Yeah.
another job that we underbid. That was a side job. We would underbid that by $3,000. It took a month instead of 2 weeks. I've been there.
Yeah.
And all of that plays a role into creating the automation and to be able to help people really capture these opportunities. Because I mean, shoot, we run ads too. I mean, we run straight click to call ads. Heck, we had a possible $10,000 job come in this past weekend. But at the same time, that came in from a whole different traffic channel compared to using it through the bot. So now we have to do a couple of different qualification steps for that. Just because the bot's set up doesn't mean everything has to go through it.
Right.
So I mean, it's a lot of people are like, well, am I handcuffed to only using the chatbot? Not at all. It's another channel, but it's a really, really good, useful channel, especially for QR codes. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow, that's true. Yeah, we were just talking about QR codes the other day.
Holy cow. QR codes are one of the easiest ways to get leads. And you'd be surprised how much information people give. We've gotten like full on physical addresses before from a trade show event. And their birthdays.
QR, really? Oh, and their birthdays. That's smart. Wow,
So
that's such a good idea.
So that way we can get their physical address, their email for a custom audience, right? All of us saying, hey, in order to get entered into the giveaway, right? This is an idea to help plant a bug in the back of some folks' minds in the community. Give away a $25 gift card. It's not going to cost you jack squat, really, truly. At the end of the day, you get one lead, one full-on project out of that, more than paid for itself. Right. You can even give a $25 job credit if you want to be finicky about it. But hey, it's all good. I mean, we do the QR code, bot pops up, right? Bot pops up and says, hey, really quick, go ahead and click through to get entered in, ask a series of questions. We have literally gotten name, number, email, their physical address and their birthday all within 2 minutes, and they didn't misspell anything.
Yeah. Yes.
How many times we got a form at an event and all it looks like they wrote like this?
Oh yeah.
Looked like they were throwing up gang signs trying to write it. It's like, come on, bro, for real. It's so bad. And you're like, man, I thought I was over here reading English. It looks like Hebrew. You know what I mean? And you're just over here. It's just like, I've been through it. I've had so many pop-up events. I've had so many different things that we've done. Man, we've done events for our friggin' baseball game here in town. We had a whole entire event, for a church that sponsored it, and all this stuff plays a part into it, because if you have how many times we get invited to networking events last minute, right? And you're like, hey, really quick, come here, get all of your things and everything and put up this display in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
What world do you live in? Like really, truly. But you can use a QR code on pop-up events, your business cards, social media content, even teaser videos, testimonial videos. Be able to say, hey, really quick, scan this QR code or shoot us a text to go ahead and book your appointment today.
Yep. We were talking about putting it on vehicles.
Oh my gosh. Vehicle wraps, whole 9 yards, everything. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Oh yeah, magnets. Yeah, so many opportunities there.
All they do is pull up their camera. Most phones these days have the QR code embedded, like QR code scanner embedded in the camera. A link pops up and bam, the bot takes off.
Yep.
Easy.
Something you said, Jeremy, about their birthday. That is such a fun marketing strategy. And you can use customer tags in your Housecall Pro system and tag their birthday, tag their month. Maybe you have it set up. Maybe you have an email campaign set up to go out at the beginning of every month. Like, it's your birthday month. Yeah. Here's a special, Well,
I mean, because even with Zapier, what we can do is capture it from the chatbot side of it. And then using Zapier to drop it into Housecall Pro.
Yeah, you're right.
And be able to find that customer profile and update the profile.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
and be able to enter it through that way.
Jeremy, you've got the ideas, you've got the automation ideas. I'm curious. So, like people that are watching this right now, some of you might have automation set up at the yin yang.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
of you, the extent of your automation might be Housecall Pro. So, for those folks who are just kind of entering this world of automation and capturing customers, capturing leads, who might be feeling a little overwhelmed right now, what would you recommend for them? Like, would you recommend they sit down? Because in my mind, I'm such a visual person. I feel like I would need to sit down and like create a mental map. All right, where are all my
Yeah.
customers coming in? You know, and
Oh,
how can I
man.
automate that? Like, what would you recommend?
I mean, automatically the scheduler on the front end, because you got to solve your leads issue first. If you're overwhelmed, what can happen is that, and I'm pulling up a mind map now, so that way we can have a visual to work with. But really, truly, when it comes down to your just for as far as where to start at, I'm going to share my screen really quick. And so you can see here that with all of the different ways of all the different things, I call this a spider web. And you see here we've got our website in the middle, which is pretty much like where if we have a Housecall Pro, or if it's a WordPress, or if it's Webflow, Shopify, whatever it is. If you have it built on a funnel, who cares? Because at the end of the day, when it comes down to you scheduling things, like wherever your traffic is coming from, if it's from YouTube, Google My Business, to anywhere from your profile, for goodness sake, if you're just starting out, if you have ways that you're getting attention, because the thing is, that's what marketing is, right? Marketing is just getting attention. Once you get attention, then setting up an automatic scheduler is going to be the key push over into things, because that's going to help you duplicate yourself on one side of it while you build your company on the back end of it. Because that way you can improve Housecall Pro and keep things moving. Because this way, if you don't, I mean, heck, if you don't have a website, who cares? Like our landscaping company literally just acquired my ownership about a month ago. We already got a 20K pipeline without a website. So you don't need a site to be able to actually make sales. You can use Housecall Pro literally and a chatbot automated scheduler like what I've been talking about to bring in leads and qualify and book them while you work on the site. Or heck, you can throw up a temporary Google My Business website to have something to display to people. Like, oh yeah, that's me. It'd be super simple. But as far as your Facebook page, your personal profile, your Google My Business, YouTube, Instagram, usually those are the top 5. Usually, I mean, if you're in a Facebook group, all these arrows that point to a specific place, all it can go from one place to another and then circle back into another area. And that's where with your website, I mean, one thing that we came up with to do is Tuesday tips. To keep things super easy for yourself, come up with a theme for a month, break it down into 4 steps, and then use the chatbot to be able to qualify leads and push them over to your calendar. Very easy. So if you're overwhelmed with tech, you can see how all of this plays a role into stuff. And I always put when applicable, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because everyone starts here needing a website. Everyone's like, I need a website. And actually, you really don't. You need content, you need a system in place to help book your online appointments. And then mainly, and now a way to either have an administrator, a virtual assistant, or an automation to qualify these leads while you're over here trying to make sure that your team and your crews are out there every single day. So this way you're not having to worry about it. Is with your website, I mean, we can create blog content, we can create different types of ways to capture attention. But at the end of the day, if we're not getting things that's going to make us money, then who cares? Who cares about what's all set up? Because with a chatbot over here, what we can do, even from your personal profile over here, we can send them to the chatbot and go through these different sequences. And even to take that information, put it over into, if you use MailChimp or if you use something super simple, you can connect it directly into that and keep it moving. Heck, even put it into a custom audience on Facebook.
Oh.
Which is great, because then you can amplify the retargeting and then bring it in. I mean, even to build a CSV list to put it on an audience in Google Ads.
True. Yep.
Very key. And those who are in like kitchen remodel, home remodel, if you have not looked into Pinterest yet, I highly recommend that you do.
Oh yeah, Pinterest is a great place.
Yeah, Pinterest, the top content that gets the best engagement for any kind of home remodel is the kitchen area because everyone gets together there.
I love that. Yeah, it's true.
Same thing for anything content related on any type of platform. If it's something that causes people to get together, all you need to do is take out your phone, keep content moving, keep it documented as you have jobs, keep documenting the progress and keep sharing it, right? And so that way you can connect the dots. If you're overwhelmed, use your phone, use an automated chatbot scheduler that we can make for you. But also too, if you have Housecall Pro, like those are the real main three things that you would need. Website is more ancillary, but you definitely want to build it into your actual scope of work down the road, if not right now. So that way you can have content that people can go to, look at, and learn from, and then book the appointment. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to have a website that's not geared to actually book appointments, because I mean, what's the point?
Right. Yeah. If you have a website, you should 100% have a way for someone to book you online.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to. I do think a website is great as a centralized location, and then from there you can also link out all of your different social media platforms.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can embed YouTube videos to increase SEO.
Yeah. Yeah. And for those watching, SEO is search engine optimization, if you are not aware of that. Absolutely. And SEO is like a whole nother thing. I'm sure Jeremy and I could talk for hours about that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's the thing, is SEO doesn't matter unless you're ranking your site, right? And thing is too, I want to hit on that really fast, because a lot of people are being sold the bill of goods when it comes to SEO, that it's generating leads the next week, which is not true.
It takes time.
It does take time, and it can snowball. And when it snowballs, it can avalanche, but it does take time. And that's the difference between a lot of things that are out there right now compared to the automation. We can start right now.
Yes.
Literally be done making it within a week, week and a half, 2 weeks max, and then have it ready to go as you're using it to get leads as you're already doing what you're doing.
Yeah. You're doing really cool work, y'all. Document it, share it, capture that audience, meet them where they're at. Absolutely. Be top of mind for them too,
Man, that top of mind is like, anyone who doesn't know that phrase has got to be fresh. They've got to be brand new in the game, green as grass. But being able to stay top of mind, it's become more complicated to a degree. And that's why having something in place that you can grab their name, number, email, personal information in a way that's not weird. Not like the guy who asks who proposes on the first date, it's kind of like weird.
We haven't even had our first kiss.
Or the guy who like slow claps at the wrong moment, you're like, dang it, and you're like, I should not have asked for that email just yet. They're like, for what? And then they're like, but the bot can be easily like, hey, really quick, for a $25 gift card, go ahead and enter in all your personal information that you don't ever want to share with anybody else because it's for $25.
Yes.
And they're like, duh, here's a shirt off my back, and it's wild, because like the click-through rates are about 90-95% roughly.
Wow.
Yeah, compared to email, where click-through rates 12, maybe 20% at best. Open rate's probably 60%. But the open rate is way above 95%. Because if you're right there in radius with somebody, or even too, if they open it up, the cool thing about it is that if they go through the bot and don't finish it, you can follow up with them one-on-one.
Oh, neat. That's
instead of having to go through, if they go through a form and they don't finish it, you lost the lead.
Yeah.
And that's where, when you connect the automation, like the scheduler automation to the Housecall Pro, it can follow up and double confirm.
Right.
Huge, 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 especially for those who are starting out, to be able to go back and track those, or even to have somebody else on it to dispatch it back over to it.
Yep. So it sounds like, if you are, for our owner operators out there, sole business owners who are in the trenches solo, sounds like you may not have to hire someone as quick as you think you do. Maybe
especially those who have multiple crews going, that's even worse for them. They're even more stressed. because they have to make sure that their guys are like, they gotta sometimes babysit their guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they already have an admin team, but now it's like, how can we set this in the middle and then just connect it to the administrative, to the sales team, and even for the customers, and be able to integrate it into all the sites.
Yeah.
To be able to have all those bases covered from public to internal and have it all connected together. Those guys are just drowning. They don't need leads. They need a better way to keep track.
Keep track of them. Right. Well, let me see if we have any questions on Facebook. We've got some people watching, joining. Hello. Looks like we don't have any questions yet, but again, it's never too late. You can always chime in with your thoughts, your questions, and we got you. Jeremy, what is the best way if someone wanted to reach out to you and pick your brain? What's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
Well, they can go to Bots to Profit, bots2profit.com, or they can just they can hit my profile on here wherever they see me on social media and just send me a message directly. But the bots2profit.com has an interview with a past client. And my favorite part about what he shared, and I promote this interview over any other client interview, because he shares what his customers talked about to him. And he shared that with me. So I didn't go to the customer's, hey, what'd you say? I'd be all creepy with it, but like, because on the back end of the chatbot stuff, I see everything, literally everything. And so it's like, there are plenty of times where it's the people that come into the automation make it so easy to crack a joke. But I digress. But the Lord knows we pray for him. But he shared with me what the customers told him offline. Literally, it said it was the smoothest, the easiest way to get information and book the appointment, and they thought it was cool because it's something brand new to them, and they were just like, "Wow, this is really neat." And that was a robot. Like, that was because we built it around his sales scripts, around what he's already talking with people about.
Yeah.
And that's where they'll be able to hear that, to see the interview, and to be able to actually get some real feedback from him. And so that way they can go to Bots to Profit, bots plural, to profit, like all spelled out, .com, and then go check out that interview.
Cool. I will drop that link in the thread. You're already providing with Housecall Pro, you're already providing your customer with a very tech forward experience. So, you can catch them even earlier with that tech forward experience.
I keep it consistent all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Because they come in from the automated scheduler, and then they go into the actual database with Housecall Pro to facilitate SMS within there. So that way it's much easier.
All right. Well, I know you've probably seen Jeremy in our Facebook community. He's always in there helping people out. He will be linked to this Facebook Live. So, Jeremy, do you have any last thoughts or any last tips, words of wisdom?
I mean, the biggest thing that I would just say to anybody who catches this replay and just overall is that it's never too late to implement and slow down. Because sometimes shame or any kind of emotion or any kind of embarrassment from not seeing it sooner can stop you from taking action right now. Don't let it, because you can't get mad at yourself for what you did not know then or weren't aware of, and what took experience to get through it to actually understand it.
Yep, that is such good advice. It's not too late, y'all.
Never.
And we're all here to help you and support you. So if you have any automation ideas or anything that's really worked for you, let us know in the comments. We're here to collaborate. What do they say? Tides raise all ships or something?
Rising tides raise all
rising
ships.
Tides.
Yeah. We all eat together. We all eat together.
Amen. All right, Jeremy. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's awesome seeing you. And we will catch up soon. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. And happy 1st of September. Have a great month.
Right back at you. I appreciate you having me on here, Lily. I really do.
All right. Take care, Jeremy. See you all.